Fletcher is one of my all-time favorite sheroes. I've been girl crushing on her since basically the beginning of Instagram. Not only because she is an absolutely beautiful human inside and out, but because of her story. She has turned her mess into a message that I can't wait for you to hear. Angie has been through so much, from her father dying at 11, a career as a 13-time cover model, married, divorced, broken, with crippling fear and anxiety and depression, and a very unhealthy relationship with food, addiction to cigarettes, pharmaceuticals, and ending up rock bottom in the hospital. She lost nearly everything and has taken it all back. She is an incredible example of resilience, strength, hope, and having guts to face your fears and move forward. And now she's helping millions of women. She is a true example that nothing is lost when experience is gained. She is a massive inspiration that we all need in our lives, and I can't wait for you to hear this. So Angie, welcome to What We Crave. Thank you so much for being here.
Whew, taking that all in. Hi, thanks for having me.
This is like Christmas morning for me, and I'm so excited to have you on this summit. Thank you for taking the time. I know you've got kids in the other room, on husband on, babysitting duty to make this work. So
kids are outside in the dirt right now, and husband is on. So we are gold.
Yes, thank you. I love it. So you say your story started when you were at your lowest, but before we jump to that part of the scene, rewind and tell us the story of what led to that point.
It's so interesting because even with all the writing that I do and all the talking that I do and all the questions that I get, it's like it changes. And for me, I don't even know what you would call a lowest point, because there were so many low points. If you've lived life as long as I have, because I'm so old, you have many different low points. And I don't know. Landing and being in the hospital, almost dying, was definitely a low point. But there was also, there was a time that I was in a back alley in Milan, passed out and having no idea how I got there. That was also a pretty low point.
Yeah.
Lots of low points. And I don't know, there's not like a specific thing that got me there. I know you had mentioned my father's death. And I want to preface all of this by saying I realize that these are all that my life is a first world life. Everyone has their story. So I do just want to put it out there and say that this is my story. And my father died when I was 11. So again, it wasn't like this crazy, horrific thing. He died of cancer. But it did shape me into my high points and my low points. I think a big reason maybe for part of that was also because I was in the stage that I was as a little girl, like a pre-puberty kind of a 11, 12-year-old girl that loses her dad and her hero and her knight in shining armor. So that kind of definitely set the stage for a lot of different things of what I would go through in relationships in my life, and food obviously being one of them as well. And so I don't know if that triggered emotionally eating or having the relationship with food that I did, or if that was just, one of the stepping stones to having different relationships with everything that I did. I know that for me, my relationship with food was, again, just a first world situation of living in northern Canada, very middle class, and just having a lot of frozen food, hardly anything really ever in season. And I didn't really even know that there was such a thing as a relationship with food. I was over the moon excited when my mom would come back the first Tuesday of every month, because it was 20%, discount Tuesday. And so we would have wagon wheels, and we would have the brand name cereal, and everything was stocked full. But with 4 kids in the home, you kind of had to grab stuff so that you could have the good stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was never I was never so poor that I didn't have food to eat. There just really wasn't a relationship with food that I knew about. I ate food. I had everything from white powder sugar, white powder donuts, to, for me, breakfast would be a bowl of no-name Fruit Loop cereal And then I would pour the white sugar on the cereal and like kind of watch it sink down so that the cereal would pop back up. And then I'd have that layer of like milk soaked sugar at the bottom that I would eat and like crunch with my teeth.
I did the same thing with Honey Nut Cheerios. Exact same thing. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So needless to say, I mean, the cavities, I think I have a cavity and a crown and a root canal in every tooth because I didn't know, about the cause, the root cause of health, which we're going to go down right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just didn't occur to me. There wasn't like a bad food or a good food or, my genetics, my mom and dad are very tall and thin. So it was never like I don't know, that was never an issue. The first time that I realized that I had an issue with food, or that I kind of figured out my relationship to food, was when I started modeling. And I could, like, I flew to Germany and I started just eating all the pasta and all the bread and all the Nutella. I would have like jars of Nutella. And then I kind of realized, I'm actually gaining weight, which I didn't really have a problem with gaining weight before. And the gaining weight was an issue just because I wasn't fitting into the clothes. And so all of a sudden it was like this, okay, I need to, like 6 months later, I realized, I need to stop eating this food to be able to fit into the clothes. And then that as an 18-year-old, that kind of started the relationship to don't eat to be skinny, which also just brought in the depression, because when you don't eat, you don't fuel your brain.
Right.
And then you get all the symptoms. So it was the depression depletion that I think really started there.